You spend 20 minutes perfectly blending your everyday makeup in the mirror, but the moment you step outside or take a photo, it vanishes. The ordinary, shifting light of the real world, especially bright flashes or overhead sun, acts like an eraser on subtle cosmetics. This leaves you with a frustrating dilemma. The routine that looks perfectly polished when you are standing in your bathroom suddenly fades into absolute nothingness under flash photography, bright studio lights, or a dim evening out. The industry has a default solution for this. They tell you to pile on a generic maximum product baddie glam or a heavy bridal routine the second you need to be on camera. This side-by-side chart shows the outcome of that approach. When you default to generic heavy routines, you end up with a carved, reshaped face covered in thick contour lines and heavy baking that completely masks your natural harmony. You are forced into a difficult trade-off. You secure visibility on a camera lens, but at the cost of looking heavily masked and entirely unrecognizable to anyone interacting with you in real life. Solving this isn't as simple as switching to heavier formulas. When you increase product thickness without a plan, you just create a flatter, more opaque surface for the light to bounce off of. True elevated beauty relies on contextual calibration. You adjust your skin finish and your color contrast based on the specific lighting environment you are walking into, rather than blindly adding more layers and hoping for the best. Let's evaluate the first specific context you will face: modifying your routine for social media screens. To stand out on a phone screen, you need to increase your blush intensity, add strategic glow to the high points of the face, and enhance your lip plushness so your features do not look flat. This graphic illustrates the camera trade-off. A high vibrancy glow demands extreme foundation restraint. Pushing blush vibrancy up forces base thickness down, otherwise skin looks heavily textured. Heavy trends rely on digital filters, but in reality, uncalibrated layers look cakey and artificial. Professional and graduation photography require a completely different approach because they are dominated by harsh, intense strobe flashes. To survive a strobe, your priority shifts to establishing a satin polish base and utilizing soft brown liner for definition, skipping the harshness of a thick black liquid liner. This diagram shows how harsh strobe lighting interacts with skin finishes. Trendy glass skin causes the flash to scatter unpredictably, reading as sweat or oil. A satin finish reflects light cleanly. Sacrificing the dewy look ensures you project lasting composure in printed photographs. Managing a camera lens is an exercise in controlling light reflection through your skin finish. It is never about fighting the camera by piling on thick foundation. We see a similar split when moving into environments dominated by continuous lighting setups: the flat, even studio video light and the dim ambiance of a restaurant. When you're under the constant, unblinking glare of a studio light, the camera picks up every shift in texture. The requirement here is a base that remains visually still, without hotspots or dry patches that emerge as you move. This face chart maps the precise zones you must control. Apply targeted powder to the center forehead, nose sides, inner undereyes, and chin. This flat, matte center sacrifices some in-person dynamic movement, but guarantees you remain perfectly stable and glare-free on video. Now consider the opposite environmental extreme: a romantic evening out characterized by very dim, warm lighting. To thrive in the dark, you need to deepen your overall warmth. You use muted bronze and rosewood tones to keep color in the face, and apply a soft champagne highlight to catch whatever ambient light is available. Structurally, you need to keep the eyes open. Utilizing outer corner lashes maintains an upward lift without casting dark shadows over the rest of the eye. This image compares the two approaches in dim lighting. A harsh black smoky eye completely closes off the face and sinks the eyes into darkness. An outer corner lash paired with a warm champagne highlight keeps the eye luminous and lifted. Because this routine lacks rigid structure and matte stability, it works beautifully for a sultry, relaxed evening out, but it would look entirely inappropriate in a sharp, daytime professional office. The lighting directly dictates your necessary structure. Flat, bright light demands matte control, while dim light requires strategic warmth and reflection to keep you visible. Let's clarify what full glam actually means within this system. It is the complete refinement and maximization of your unique anchors, like your lifted brows and your high peach rose blush. It is not the application of an entirely new, unrecognizable face. These 3 caution graphics display the most common product mistakes that will instantly destroy a soft, lifted aesthetic when you try to scale up intensity. Beige lips completely wash out the mouth and drain life from your complexion. Heavy, full-strip lashes drag the eye downward. And thick under-eye baking destroys your natural skin texture the moment someone stands close to you. Achieving true personal glam demands a higher level of technical precision and self-awareness. You have to evaluate what actually works for your face rather than mindlessly executing a viral cookie-cutter tutorial. When you scale intensity correctly, your features remain your own. You achieve a high-impact look that doesn't rely on erasing your natural structure. Successfully utilizing this system requires you to permanently abandon the safety blanket of using one single heavy routine for every special occasion. This flowchart maps the logical sequence. You start with the event type, evaluate whether you are dressing for a lens or the human eye, and factor in specific lighting conditions. The physical demands of the environment must dictate your routine choice, not emotional anxiety. Before you leave the house for any high-visibility event, you run the elevated mirror check. You look closely and ask, has the definition increased without introducing harsh, unblended lines? And is the lip color warm enough to balance out the scaled-up intensity of the rest of the face? Passing this internal check guarantees that your core visual identity remains completely intact, regardless of how intense the lighting is going to be. You can step straight into the bright glare of camera flashes, knowing the makeup is perfectly calibrated to survive the scrutiny. The ultimate goal of an elevated routine is to ensure the camera captures you at your most calibrated, rather than just capturing a thick layer of makeup sitting on top of your skin.